there'll be a second delay, so give it a
See it.
millennial
It
pause.
says we are live. 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 5,
All
6.
right, hello
Hey!
everyone. Welcome to JavaScript Jam.
Woo,
This is
woo, woo!
Scott and Anthony's web dev adventure. That's the title.
Yes.
Episode 1, the origin story.
Uno.
Thanks so much, Saban, for already being here on
What?
day 1
Yo,
at the
what?
ground floor. The
Yeah.
very minute the show ever starts.
What?
From the beginning.
Yes.
All right. Scott, tell people what we are shouting about.
We're shouting because we're excited. Oh,
What are
gosh.
we excited about, Scott?
Oh, man. This is going to be fun. All right. So we're excited because we're going to be doing this live stream right now. At least it's going to be every Thursday, I think. We may change things up as things go along. It all depends on what happens here, right? But, hey, Deb's here too. What's up, brother? So, yeah, we're going to be teaching me some coding stuff. So I do know a little bit of HTML, a little bit of CSS, a tidbit of JavaScript
I
here
heard
and
you
there.
even know some Mongo.
Some MongoDB. Hey, I heard you know some Mongo. Who says that? Come on, no.
You do though. You made sure I knew. You're like,
Right.
hey, bro, I know lots about databases.
Yeah. I know some database things. Nothing too crazy, but hey, you know what? I'm really excited because, actually, it's funny. Saban was talking about serverless just a second ago and how you don't have to deal with a lot of different things. But anyway, moving forward, I'm just so excited because Anthony and I are going to be able to get together every Thursday here and just go through and build out certain things. And with this series that we're going to be doing now, we're actually going to be taking, he'll go down in history. Yes. We're actually going to be taking the JavaScriptJam.com website, and we're going to use Astro to build it out. And we're going to try and go with a headless approach, potentially.
I mean, if we're using
deploying it-
Astro, by definition, is kind of a headless
It
approach.
is.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
But I just want to clarify that for people, that are just watching. Maybe they're brand new and they have no idea what we're talking about. So look it up.
If they're brand new, saying
Look up
it's headless
headless.
would probably make them more confused.
It'll be fun.
But
Look it up.
the point is, we are using Ghost right now as
True.
a kind of CMS. It has email functionality, which is nice, but we're kind of
really
using
good.
one of their site templates. And if you want to modify it, if you want to do something custom, then you're going to be downloading a theme that is a custom theme we're using. You're editing it in Handlebars. It's a templating language. It's not quite the same as just having some sweet React components that we all know and love. Now, Scott does not yet know and love React components that much, but he will,
Oh.
because
What
with
about some
Astro,
vanilla components?
we can do both. Because it's Astro. That's
Hey.
the great thing is we can start with some HTML pages and then slowly start to add in components or, just general pages. But we'll be doing basically the thing I'll be thinking about is kind of like, what are the different data sources we're bringing in? Because we have both videos, we have kind of posts, we have what else do we have? We have the actual podcast itself, and there's various different things that we have to use here. But as long as you're just hitting different data sources, we can pull all those in with Astro, and then we can have a cohesive looking site that does a little bit of everything. And no, Saban, we will probably not be building it with Angular, unfortunately. I'm thinking we'll probably start with just Astro components, kind of see how far we get, and then maybe bring in some React along the way. But today, actually, we're not going to really code anything because I'm a firm believer in what's called README-driven development. Do you know what README-driven development is, Scott?
Yeah, so let's go find some documents, documentation of Astro, go dig into these things, read some of these things, and point us in the direction, API documentation, all these different things for Ghost, yada, 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 and see where it leads us and
so that's
what we need to do.
A really good guess.
Yeah?
We're not going to do any of that.
See, I tried so hard.
README-driven development. This is a term, actually.
I should have, you know what I should have done? Golly, my best friend, okay? His name is GPT. I call him the GPT homie. And I should have just typed in that, and I could have given you a really great answer, I'm sure.
Actually, I bet I bet if you did ask ChatGPT, it would know exactly what you're talking about because this is a blog post that was written in 2010, so it's far before its
about
September
11 years prior.
2021
Yes.
cutoff date, which it reminds me every single time I ask it a question. By the way, your question is relevant to the present, but I don't exist. I exist a year and a half in the past, just in case you forgot. But let me screen share real quick, and I can show you what README driven development is.
I would love to see this.
README driven development. This is a blog post. This is a blog post written by the ROGTPW, Tom Preston Warner,
Tom,
creator
if you ever
of Redwood
hear this.
and Jekyll and GitHub.
What's up?
He wrote this post a long time ago called README driven development. I'm not going to read this to you. Then this is a very boring looking blog post, but the idea behind README driven development is that you start by writing a README. You don't start by coding a project. So every GitHub repo you see, it's got a README. It's got a README and it's got some code. A lot of people, they'll write all the code, then they'll upload that thing, and they won't even bother writing a README. That's the opposite of what
and you
do.
know what? And this is really good, though, because we've been talking about this during JavaScript Jam Live on our Wednesday stuff. And even in Twitter Spaces right now, or in Twitter, in Twitter land, there's a lot of stuff going around. People saying hey, if you don't have good README, if you don't have good docs, you don't exist, right? Yep. And so this is a great way to go about this the other way around. And this actually makes me think of mobile first development, right? Mobile is the thing. If you're not developing for mobile first, then you're typically not there, right? So this is cool. I like it.
Yeah, so it does a couple things. One, it's most useful for actually us as the people building this site because it's going to help us have to first map out what is the architecture of the site, where are the different pages, what are they going to do before we start coding it. Because we could start coding it and just go and then end up with half of the pages in various different states of creation. And then all of a sudden okay, wait, what do we have left to do? And then this will give us a checklist beforehand. Right. It'll also set us up for future contributors. If someone then happens to see this site in the future and wants to maybe make an addition or a change, or they could jump in and there'll already be a README that'll explain the whole architecture and where all the stuff is and how to run your dev commands to get set up and all that kind of stuff.
This is great. Yeah. This is something where I would lack for sure because I don't like documenting things too much unless it's through video or audio. Writing this out, this is going to help me to improve in areas that, that's the thing, that's another thing that this is going to do for not just me, but hopefully for other people watching this that are similar to me in my situation or even just are really good at doing this like Anthony, to be able to watch us go through this process and see this all happen live is going to be interesting and fun for sure.
Yeah, no, it's going to be sweet. So, I'm going to go ahead and screen share.
Share that screen.
Yeah. And I'm going to close.
I think we should make little little sound effects for our transitions. All right, I'm going to screen share. Screen share.
Yeah, scene changes. We got all sorts of stuff we could change.
Just silly stuff. I mean, come on. Let's make it us.
There's plenty of production flares we can add for sure. So right now we got two things going on. We got the JavaScript Jam homepage, and then we got this JavaScriptJam.com repo I've created. So as we see here, It is the new and improved JavaScript Jam website built with Astro. And deployed on eventually Edgio. So what's Edgio, Scott?
Oh, Edgio. It's just this place we kind of work actually.
Edgio pays the bills.
It does pay the bills. So I work for a company called Edgio, and so does Anthony. And I am actually the technical community manager there. And Anthony,
I am a developer advocate there, and we are advocating for developers on Edgio right now by showing them how to build a sweet Astro site with it.
Yes. So you could say we're even maybe advocating for Astro. I
mean, by definition, we are. Anytime you use a thing, you advocate for it, whether you want to or not.
Are we getting a paycheck for that too?
Oh, they're gonna have their own. They're gonna be able to figure their own way, make money quite soon. So have fun with that.
True. I'm excited for this.
Let me give this a soft wrap right here. Okay, so should be writing a little markdown here. I'm just gonna kind of start free flowing here. So we got the home page, which right now is javascriptjam.com. So this has the initial.
Can you guys see that in the audience very well? Do you want?
Let me actually
plus
bump up. Let me do one of those.
Control
that
P
should be
plus.
That should be good now. So the homepage, the main thing that's going on here is the subscribe button. So having the functionality of this button is going to be some of our first like JavaScript we're going to need, because that's where something is going to happen. It's not just content.
Right.
So subscribe with email,
HTML
input, and button. So input and button are both going to be actual HTML. So I'm putting those in with little ticks. And aside from that, we have links to Composability Summit. What is Composability Summit, Scott?
Composability Summit is a summit that we did back in July of last year. And we had 30 plus speakers there. Inside 20.
Hey, look, that's us.
Look at that. Hey.
So if you got a Composability Summit right here, you
type
can
it in your YouTubes. You'll see a whole playlist there. Yep, lots of wonderful people in there. In fact, Sabin is in there.
He is. Oh, what's up? Ishan's here. Cool.
Yo, Ishan. Woot woot.
So, yeah, and I spoke at Composability Summit. Crash course for Web 2. For
Web 3
developers. There we go. Crash course in Web 3. That's what it was.
There it is.
So check this out too, because I know all you guys love Web 3.
There you go.
So very much.
Go check out our composability videos. You'll get some value from it for sure. Some of them had quite a few views. So
those links probably disappear actually. Realizing whatever. Okay, so Composability Summit. We also have links then to JavaScript Jam Live,
which we do that every Wednesday, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitter Spaces.
Right. And then JavaScript Jam, the podcast. So JavaScript Jam, the podcast, is where we bring on open source maintainers and developers and people building cool stuff to talk about their projects. I was also on that back in 2021 to talk about Redwood.
Yes.
I think you have your
I know
something making sounds. And then we have this explore link, which goes to just the same thing as JavaScript Jam Live, and then the newsletter archive. So explore, which goes to JavaScript Jam Live.
There it is. I was just seeing if we were live on Twitter. We are. Hey, look at that.
Sweet. Woo! Hello, Twitter.
Yo.
What are you angry about today?
What are you angry about today?
And then latest articles, which brings in all the stuff. It brings in stuff for the newsletter and the podcast, and maybe the live too. Yeah, this one we'll figure out later.
Okay.
And then another subscribe.
So let's talk about Markdown for those who are newer-ish, maybe.
Yeah, so Markdown right now, what's happening right now is I'm writing this sweetness, and I'm gonna go ahead and commit this.
What does Markdown mean?
Yeah, one second. So Markdown is a way to write very concise HTML, is what it really does. So what's happening in the Markdown is we have some headers with these hashtags. This is a header 1. This is a header 2. And then you can also do things like links. So if I made these instead of bullet points, I can also make them numbers. So you can do bullet points, you can do numbers really quickly, you do different size headers. You can also do links like so. So that then turns that into a link by putting it in parentheses next to some brackets. Markdown is how I, as a programmer, someone who does a lot of writing and like a developer person, I would say 95% of my time spent in an IDE is writing Markdown, not writing actual code. So this is how I write all my blog posts. This is how I write all my documentation. This is how I write almost everything, is all in Markdown. And what's great is it creates good structures, especially if you're actually doing this in an IDE, because then you can like collapse different sections. You can search through stuff. You can replace stuff like it's if you're doing code. So I highly recommend everyone get proficient in Markdown. It's going to be an extremely, extremely useful skill set for you to hone.
There you go. Hey, Alexis, welcome. Welcome back. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? Cool. So that is kind of the home page. So the main thing I wanted to do is break down the different pages we're going to have. So there we go. Okay, because this is a little smaller. Okay, so we have boom, 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 boom. So we got JavaScript Jam Live, Composability Summit, Newsletter, Podcast.
Boom, boom, boom.
So let me do
That's
this
hard.
actually. Outline of
Boom, boom.
pages. So we've got
Boom, boom,
homepage,
Yes.
JavaScript Jam Live, Composability Summit,
Newsletter
archive, and then podcast.
Boom, boom, boom.
One more.
Which, hey, we have some upcoming podcasts, like podcast.
So here's
video podcast.
Here's another cool trick you can do
Yes, that's
with
right. We love tricks.
Markdown is you can create links to sections by doing this.
Yes, I get it.
So we're gonna go homepage, JavaScript Jam Live.
So long as you know the actual.
Let me paste this one so I spell it correctly.
Is that what they actually are? Is that the end?
What was that?
Oh, okay. I'm just watching. No, it's fine.
So what's gonna happen now is I'm gonna create these with each of these. And then the hashtag with the name is what makes it a link to the specific header. And this is actually an important thing for SEO as well. If you do your headers correctly, not the outline necessarily, just doing your headers correctly at all, helps it parse the structure.
Right.
So sometimes if you Google one of, like, I noticed this when I Google some of my blog posts, like sometimes they'll give it like a summary actually at the very top if it's like a high ranking one, and then it will like kind of break it down with the different headers.
Makes sense.
So now if we see this, each of these, let me commit this, add outline of pages. And so now if we check this out, if we click homepage, it then sends you straight to the homepage. You can also find the links by clicking these headers. So we got boom, and then because there's no real content, these are all just going straight to the bottom of the page.
Right.
But once we fill it out, we'll be able to easily jump to each section of the site.
Nice.
So that now gives us our outline of all the pages we're going to have. So it's actually a fairly well scoped small project, honestly.
Yeah,
we're looking at
awesome.
a home page and then 5 individual pages. All of them are essentially content with the exception of a single button to help you subscribe. Technically, you can log in to this website, though. Is that correct?
Yeah, but we don't have any membership stuff right now. It's only free.
Yeah, right. So there's actually a way to
when you
sign
subscribe.
in.
Yeah, you're actually creating an account, but it's a free.
That doesn't actually give you any functionality. You just have an account
not yet.
and sign up.
Yeah.
So
that's just because that's part of Ghost feature set, right?
Yeah. So we're not going to build that into the Astro site right now because that wouldn't make any sense.
There's a lot there.
Okay, cool. So you want to go through each of these pages now?
Let's do it.
Cool. So we got JavaScript Jam.
Any questions so far from the audience? We'd love to hear you guys. If you have any questions, please feel to comment on YouTube or even Twitters. Yeah, let us know.
Yeah. So actually, we can just inspect this and see what this HTML is. I was curious. So this will be the next header.
Yep.
Technically, I'm going to be bumping them all down one because our H1 is just this thing right now. But for the most part, the structure will retain. And then we got the content here.
Yep.
And so this is by the way, this is a good trick, Scott. Once we switch over to you, coding is being able to just inspect stuff and get a sense of the HTML. I'm sure that's something you've done before, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. I love using the inspection tool.
Yeah. So then we got this next
F12 all
section,
day.
just what is JavaScript Jam Live, and then this whole description here, and then we'll have a link to the archive of posts. This is actually, so this is what spurred us even want to rebuild this in the first place.
Yes.
That, or at least me having the thought to make this more customizable, because we wanted to fix this section.
Yeah.
And then I went down the rabbit hole to find out what that was going to actually entail for Ghost. It was so silly to just add a component that would let us just display these in a slightly nicer way. I'm
exactly.
like, I want to migrate the entire site right now if that's what we're going to have to do.
Yes. So it was. That's one of the reasons for sure.
Yeah, and then each of these link to the Twitter Spaces we had, or a page of the recording of the Twitter Space. I should say.
Yep. By the way, y'all, for those of you on YouTube or that love YouTube, something we're thinking about in the future potentially is still doing Twitter Spaces, obviously, but having like the hosts, the co-hosts have video going, and so also doing like a simultaneous StreamYard while we're on Twitter Spaces. I don't know, it might be complicated, but that way we have video too, and we get, because like when we throw just audio onto YouTube, yeah, sometimes it's not the greatest, right? But more engaging. I don't know. What do you think?
Let us know.
Let us know.
Okay, so Composability Summit page is almost identical. It doesn't have a long description of Composability Summit, which you might want to include something there for, but it basically just spits out all the posts. So this is going to be component with, instead of JavaScript Jam Live episodes, Composability
So question
Summit
that I have in my brain coming up. When so this README, when we're done, quote unquote done with it, and then like when we come in to do like CSS and make the page look nicer and maybe add a new, we're like, yeah, let's add a section here and put some more, add a row here or a column here and put some more information here. Are we going to come back into the README and add that into the structure?
So this README right now, I'm mixing in content along with the actual structure. So all this content that's actually going to end up on the website, that this is not going to be like on the README right now. I'm just doing kind of like a big brain dump of how I'm conceptualizing the site in my head. And then a lot of this will be pared down, and then it'll be more so kind of like just the basic outline of the site, what the different pages are, and then there'll actually be some code to kind of show how we're rendering components. And then that's kind of what this is going to turn into. So this is going to look very, very different between now and when this site is actually shipped and we leave it open to people kind of contributing to it.
So it is dynamic and very much.
Yes, and if you go, this is actually a fascinating experiment. If you go look at any open source project and kick it back, try and find the very, very first commit. This is not easy to do because you have to look at the number of commits, then click the list of commits, and then put that number into the URL to click it all the way back to that number of commits. Because otherwise, you got to click it over and over and over to get to the end. It's really stupid. But you can find the beginning and actually look at the state of a repo for a different project, and it will never, the README will never ever look like what it is then. Sometimes they go through name changes, sometimes they entirely change the structure of the project. The most important thing is that the README expresses the state of the repo at the current time you're building it. So as you're changing things in the project, the README should go along with that.
Got it. Makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, so that's that. And then we're going to have the newsletter archive.
I can't wait to make this look so much better.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be the fun part for both of us, because I don't really know a ton of styling stuff.
I love messing with CSS for real. Yeah, like animation, all kinds of stuff. I just like making something look decent.
Oh,
I mean, this isn't hard to come and make better.
I mean, it's
Well, yeah.
it's
It's not
served us
terrible.
well.
Yeah. No, it's definitely done what it needed to do, which was to give people the opportunity to find what we have available. But yeah,
And I'm excited also to do this because this is where I've been putting in a lot of effort to write these newsletter articles.
true. Yeah.
So I'm gonna enjoy having better control over things like the headers and stuff, because this is one thing that really bugs me about Ghost, is that they give you the ability, allegedly, to set Facebook headers, OG title. So there's OG tags. You can do it with Facebook and Twitter. They have different pages on them to edit both, but then when you actually ship the website, everything gets smushed down to a single OG tag, and it does it for all the OG tags. So it has a UI to do it that in the end does not actually differentiate between the sites. It really bugs me. So that's the type of stuff we're going to be able to do, because right now you have these Twitter URL. So there's the Twitter description here. And then there should also be a Facebook description, because there's an OG
should be
description and a Twitter description. There's supposed to be a Facebook one here too, but there's not. So one of the other things we'll be able to do with the...
And then we could also push out different size images for those too, probably then.
Yes, and we'll have control over all source image stuff.
Yeah.
So now we got the podcast page. So the podcast page, this is where we are going to be pulling in stuff just externally. So we're going to be pulling in things from the actual JavaScript Jam YouTube, which is right here. So this will be interesting because we could do this a couple of ways. We could have it set up to where every time a new episode gets published, someone goes in, grabs the link, makes an addition to the repo and the markdown, or we could have it set up to where it actually hits an API. And then every time a new episode is uploaded, it would just automatically be there. That would be the ultimate point.
Yes,
because I've never used the YouTube API, but it's something we can learn how to do.
Oh, I want to. Come on, if I can make our job that much. I love automation.
It is. It's a web developer adventure, not a web developer walk in the park.
True that. Come on now. Put on your big boy pants. Let's go. Oh, so silly.
Too funny. You're so silly, Scott.
I know. I'm trying.
If you build and deploy, you'll love composability. Did you write that one, Scott?
No, I didn't.
Okay, so we almost got this whole outline here, because I don't think we really need this subscribe page, do we? Because we already can subscribe on the home page.
Right. As long as we have on the landing page where people are going to hit when they first go, then that's what we need. Yeah, we don't...
Because we want to link people to the home page. We don't want to send them some random link to do this.
Right.
And
you could leave the subscribe link there, but have it go to the same homepage if you want. But yeah.
So have a subscribe link here that just goes bam.
There, I guess. Sure. Why not?
Bam.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm just gonna leave this out for now.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. So add rest of pages. Let's see how this looks now. So we got the home page, following stuff, got the JavaScript Jam page.
By the way, if you aren't subscribed yet, you see that we were putting a lot of effort into this. And a lot of value that Anthony puts into all the newsletters. So don't miss out on all the latest on web development and just all those wonderful things. JavaScript, of course, that is going on in the world. So not to mention all the cool things that we are talking about on JavaScript Jam on every Wednesday and all that stuff. So be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Yep.
I'm also just adding in some ticks here to kind of indicate that this is where code will go to do stuff, because there's going to be for each page there's like the content, And then there's going to be some sort of component that's going to then have a list of either the episodes, the podcast, or the newsletters.
From the API.
So yeah, exactly. So the question then is, well, not the question, but with Astro, what we're going to be able to do is here. Let me show you my Astro website, because that's going to explain lot of what's going to happen here. So if we check out ajcweb.dev, ajcwebdev.com. So this is my blog, and this is an Astro website. So it's very, very simple. There's only 3 pages here. There's a home page, there's an about page, and then there's a blogs posts page, which displays blog posts. So
super simple, man.
In the home page, let's just check this out. So in our Astro project, we're going to have SRC pages, and then we're going to have an index.astro file, which can display the stuff you want to do. Okay, so this is so what's happening with Astro, and this might not make a lot of sense because you're still kind of learning JavaScript and HTML and all that stuff. But what's cool about Astro is it lets you kind of write JavaScript logic within these 3 ticks. So we have this header part, and there's all this JavaScript code happening. And then this is then our HTML component here below.
So you don't have to have 2 different files like .js, .html, or whatever. You can have it all in one.
Right, exactly. And what's happening here
is it an HTML file that it's within, or is it a
.astro file?
Okay, got it.
So this is it.
Okay,
so that makes sense. So my site actually does not use React at all. That's what I'm saying. We may not actually end up using React too much, because your .astro files are able to do a lot of the stuff you want to do.
No, it's super cool.
So it's wrapping it with a layout, and then here is our H1, which is Anthony Campolo, developer advocate. And then we got just 2 paragraph tags here. What I'm doing with the styling is these are all Tailwind classes. Something that people complain a lot about with Tailwind is that you end up having a whole bunch of Tailwind nonsense spread throughout your HTML. So I import them from the top, so it keeps them separate from the HTML, but they're still in the same file. So just to explain what's kind of happening there.
Is there no separate? So I've never used Tailwind, but I've used CSS, and usually you'd have like a style sheet, right? And then you import the style sheet into that. So like, is this kind of similar, but you're still in the sheet as it is, and you have the Tailwind styles up top?
So yeah, this is more so like CSS and JS, where you're inlining your CSS right within your component.
Right.
The only
Which a lot of people don't
necessarily
like doing that though, because it dirties it up.
It does, and that's why you can. What I like doing is do that, but then just extract it out into variables that are in the top, and then you just import really small, concise variables.
Which is what you're doing here.
Exactly. Yes.
Right. Okay.
So each of these HTML fragments, they have a class.
Yep.
So this H1 has a CSS class which points to post title, which is this right here. So this is a Tailwind class. So if we look up MB-6 title CSS,
see what it looks like.
Tailwind,
is it pretty? I'm sure it is.
It'll tell you
Tailwind.
Exactly.
Looks nice. All right.
Yeah. Right. So anyway. So that's kind of how this is set up. And then the actual way it's pulling in posts is this right here. So this is an unordered list, and it actually hits your all posts. So it kind of hits the directory. Sorry, that's not the one. It does this. It does a glob thing to bring in the posts, and then it basically searches throughout so that's what all the stars are for anything that has .mdx at the end. Okay. And then each of the posts, the way I have them laid out is by year. So like
.mdx.
If you go 2022, 11/20, then that takes you to a blog post here.
And that's Markdown, is that right? MDX?
Yeah, this is Markdown. Yeah, MDX is Markdown. That also includes React components if you want, but I don't actually write any React components in mine. But this is a blog post. So if we go to first look at solid start, is taking this HTML and then turning it into a blog post.
Yep.
And so that's why I'm thinking we're probably going to end up just using a lot of Markdown files to create the content itself. and that'll make it really easy to look nice
Got it.
because there's
We'll
lots of
continue to
just kind of styling
utilize Ghost
conventions.
for like the blogs and all that, and the newsletter and everything because of the functionality.
Yeah, how much we end up utilizing Ghost is going to be kind of a process of figuring out how hard it is to port each individual part of it to Astro. So that's
But
going
that's
to
the
be
fun part
kind
because
of
the
fluid.
APIs. That's
the fun
where
part.
that's where
Yeah.
you really get full stacky ish.
Yeah.
I guess maybe not. Would you consider? That's a good question. Would you consider playing around with the APIs full stack, or would you still consider that front end development?
I would consider that front end development because building the API is what makes you full stack. So if
There
you're
you go.
hitting an
Okay.
API and just displaying the data as
Sure.
a front end, that is what allows you to only be a front end developer because you get to decouple
You don't
that
have to mess
and
with
kind
it.
of
Right.
offload it to whatever is behind the API.
Sure.
And so that's
Sure.
why usually if you're talking about full stack development, like with Redwood comes with a GraphQL API that you create yourself.
Right.
So that's ends up being decoupled from your front end if you want. So you could have a single project and then split the team. So the team only works on the API, and the front end
Right.
developers only work on the front end, but it would still all be contained within your Redwood project.
Yep. Makes sense.
You know, cool.
Yeah, buddy.
So, do you have any questions about the current game plan?
No, I mean, like I'm totally on board. I know I probably should have some questions, but I don't think I do at this point. Like I'm not like overwhelmed or anything. I see everything that's going on. I understood the process. I was, stating things that you said yep to, so it just made sense. Like I'm like, yeah,
Cool.
I'm like,
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
thinking the
that's good.
next episode, what I want to do is I'll kind of walk you through just like generating the Astro project and
Yes.
building out just the first couple pages and the skeletons of them, because that'll all just be kind of straight up HTML and
Yep.
it'll be pretty straightforward. And then that'll help kind of get a sense of the project structure and what's going on.
Cool. That's awesome, man. I'm excited to really mess up some things next time. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. And for everyone who was watching in the crowd, thanks for joining. If anyone has questions, this is pretty much all the things that I wanted to do today. Give us a nice kind of gentle introduction into this. Looks like we got one right here. Scott, are you new
Alexis.
to web development? So Scott,
Yo.
yeah, so you said that a little bit at the beginning, but why don't you kind of let her know kind of where you're at?
Absolutely. Thanks for the question, Alexis. Great question. So as you probably kind of maybe you don't know, which is why you're asking. So yeah, I mean, I've dabbled in HTML and CSS. I've done a little bit of JavaScript. I've built out a site in HTML and CSS. I've built out like a bio and all that other stuff, whatever, and like even done some advanced CSS with animations and things like that. Have I done it enough to like know the stuff off the top of my head? Nope. I'd probably have to go back and like look through and look up things as I go through the process. But can I do it? Absolutely. Now, this is part of the process, though, is I want to learn more of it and just be in it more every week, right? And honing in my skill sets as a developer. Would I call myself a developer? Yeah, sure, absolutely. I mean, I know how to develop, but I'm not anywhere near what Anthony or most of the people that we have on JavaScript Jam. I'm not anywhere near as knowledgeable when it comes to that particular skill set. However, I do know the lingo and I do understand a lot of the concepts and processes and systems and all these different things. As you kind of heard me talking here while Anthony was going through
You're going to be
this.
becoming kind of more fluent in it as you kind of, because you could,
absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like you already know a lot of it, but you want to be able to kind of like feel more comfortable just like jumping into things and just like be able to like kind of do it. And that's I can give a little bit of kind of my background in web development, because I think people probably may not know kind of, I'm actually, I would say, relative to many people who've been doing it for a long career, have not been doing it very long. Like I did my boot camp in 2020 and got my job in 2021. So it's 2023. Like that's, 2 years really. So that's how long I've been doing it professionally and had been
But you've been so involved. I mean, so
Yeah,
involved in
it's
so
a
many
very
things that you have
dense
like
3 years.
10 years in 3. Like, okay, go ahead.
The secret is you sleep 3 hours a night. It's easy.
Yeah, right. Yes.
So I was doing Redwood in 2020. So that's why I would say I would consider what I did with Redwood comparable to almost a real-time job, in the sense that I was like writing blog posts and doing videos, and like I did like 9 meetup talks about Redwood throughout the course of just within like 3 or 4 months, actually, within like September to December. And that was like very intense, and I learned so much more doing that than I would have if I stuck with my boot camp. This is another fun little tidbit in my story. I dropped out of my boot camp. I never finished my boot camp to do Redwood instead. And I decided that I kind of had gotten everything I was going to get out of it. And because I had done the whole curriculum of building all the web stuff, and they're like, now you're going to take a month of Python, you're going to learn how to do like whiteboarding algorithm type challenges. And I'm like, that's going to be useful for me to learn eventually, but not right now. Right now, I need to learn how to build apps and do useful
Take the action
crap. And so I saw the opportunity to kind of get involved with Redwood. And I was also realizing that DevRel was a viable career path. And so I'm like, I'm just going to become the Redwood DevRel because no one else is doing it. But this is like clearly the best framework that exists right now, and no one's promoting it. So I'm going to promote it. And then people were like, this isn't the best framework ever. And I'm like, well, you're wrong. So I'm just going to keep talking about it.
And then what did that get you? That gave you a spot where?
That got me a job, and I'm now the DevRel of a framework no one talks about, but that's really, really good. That is good enough. But
they brought you on at Redwood as a. They brought you on as a.
They did, yeah. And so I've gotten to work with a really great team and see a lot of really cool apps built, and also integrate with 7 different deployment platforms. This is how I actually first learned how to use Layer Zero, the predecessor to Edgio. I learned how to deploy Redwood to it. I was the first person to ever deploy a Redwood app to Layer Zero. And that was very educational. And I took a side step into Web3 in 2020. I got to see the meltdown of some of the largest companies I've ever seen. That was really cool. And now I'm back in deployment.
That was really cool. Oh my gosh. Yes.
And Sabin knows that Redwood and Prisma are buddies. We were actually one of the very first frameworks to ever build with it. We were building with Redwood 2, or we were building with Prisma 2 before it was even officially released. It was in beta, and it was this weird experimental thing that was very flaky but very cool. And then we just kind of worked with it, and then it got better, and then we kept getting better, and then it became the only ORM anyone uses in JavaScript until recently, where everyone's talking about Drizzle and Keasley, which I don't know anything about. I'm gonna keep using Prisma for now.
Awesome, super exciting.
But we do not need Prisma for this project, 'cause there's no database
as of right now. Absolutely.
Yes. Exactly.
Maybe if we had a membership and some things in the back end, but So
Sabin. Sabin definitely works for Prisma. Yeah, if you don't know Sabin, he's Sabin the world, and he is a DevRel at Prisma. Prisma is so awesome.
Sabin's an awesome guy. You should connect with him, Alexis, if you want to know.
Yeah, I met Sabin in person at Remix Conf. We should talk about our upcoming conferences, by the way, while we have a captured audience.
Might as well. Absolutely. So yes, met Sabin at Remix, and so did I, and I've seen him at a couple other conferences since. So he was at last time I saw him at was Jamstack conference, right? Yep. In San Fran. Seen him there. That was good. We hung out for quite a while. And anyway, so upcoming here very, very soon, very, 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 very soon, April 20th through the 21st, we have, as you can see on the screen, React Miami. Yo. I'm so excited for this. This is going to be so much fun. And if you didn't hear yesterday, which I think everybody on here did, but if not, we talked about this in our JavaScript Jam Live on Twitter Spaces. So go to JavaScript Jam there and go check out that live if you missed it, because
Here's
it
us.
was- yes. Hey, look at that. Edgio and JavaScript Jam. Woo! We are media sponsors there.
Yeah.
And so we're collaborating with them and doing some really cool stuff, talking about and talking with speakers from the event over the next several weeks, and just super excited about that on JavaScript Jam. So if you want to hear more from those speakers and be able to connect with them and talk with them, dude, we had a slew of them yesterday. Like, how many do we? I don't even know how many of the speakers we had. Like 5 on there yesterday or something. Plus Michelle, who is
way
one
more,
of the
way more than that.
organizers.
Actually, I
Yeah, we
counted
had like
them all
10
here.
or
Let me show
10
you.
or
1,
something. I don't know.
2,
There's a
3,
lot.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
11. We had 11 other people on there yesterday. That's amazing. So, more to come. Next week, we're going to be speaking with Henri. He was on there yesterday, but he's going to come in and do a little more in depth with us. And Will Johnson. So, with Auth0.
Yeah.
Really excited about that. So, should be a really good time. And then the following week after that, I think we're going to have Facundo with Storyblock.
That's
He's
right.
really awesome. I've had him on. He was on Composability Summit with us, actually. And I've seen him at every. I mean, that guy's like at every event. Yeah, have you ever noticed that? Like Facundo, if you go to any event, like Facundo's there. It's like, holy cow. Anyway.
I know. It's great. I love Facundo.
Yes,
Facundo's my homie. He's been on FS Jam.
He's a trooper. He is a trooper for sure, man. He works very hard. Anyway, so yeah.
Then we got Remix Conf.
Remix Conf after that. May 9th through 11th. Anthony will be there all the days. I'll be there like the 11th, basically. But we are going to be doing, by the way, actually, real quick, at React Miami, we're going to be doing a live while we're there with a panel of the speakers and some really cool stuff there. Same thing at Remix. We're going to be live at Remix at the after party that they're doing. And the speakers are going to be there and doing a panel with us as well. So keep an eye out for that. You're going to see promotions, co-promoting from React Miami. You're going to see co-promoting from Remix. And they're going to be putting us, yep, there we are, Edgio. And they're going to be, blasting out stuff that, hey, we're going live and all that. So pay attention. It's going to be so much fun. Looking forward to that. And really the thing that kind of set this all off, where we started collaborating with these events and stuff, was actually Remix in 2022. I was there and I had this idea and I said, you know what, let's go and do our JavaScript Jam live, like right here in the middle of the lobby. And
right here,
let's go
right now.
Yeah, right meow. And let's go gather up some speakers and, and talk to them. So I gathered up speakers like the day before and the day of, just like saying, hey, we're going to be going live on Twitter Spaces. You want to join us? We're going to talk a little bit about the Remix conference and stuff like that.
And then we took Dan Abramoff hostage.
Yes, we did. So he actually ended up,
explain yourself.
Explain yourself. So the algorithm, Twitter Spaces kind of was like, hey, there's some big stuff going on here. Lots of people, lots of influencers. Dan was like, oh, I see this. And he jumps in, and then we're like, we got you. It was a trap the whole time.
Yeah. And like, we heard Remix is going to destroy all of your efforts. How do you feel about this?
Yeah. So it was a good conversation, though. And then from there, that kind of became the thing. So whenever I started going to, like, for example, I went to like Render ATL and stuff like that. I just did a live like in the middle and gathered up some speakers and stuff like that to jump on with us. So now instead of us just doing this kind of like guerrilla style effort, now we're actually being backed by the events to actually do this with them as a cohesive collaboration. Yeah. So
did you want to hit
really
NGConf too?
Absolutely. Why not? Yep. Do it up there. So NGConf is the next one we're going to be doing after that. So we got a pretty tight schedule here. It's going to be so much fun, but this is from June 14th to the 15th. The workshop's on 12th to 13th, but we'll be there 14, 15. And this is out in Salt Lake City, I think. Same thing as
Aaronet's taking its sweet time right now.
Yeah, no worries. And so this is like an Angular kind of
it must be an Angular site.
Watch out. Shots fired. So NGConf, though, this is going to be a good time. We're talking. So we've been same thing, same type of collaboration. that we're going to be doing with these folks. And so you're going to hear a lot more from speakers from this on JavaScript Jam Live. We're going to be doing maybe even some podcasts. We're going to all kinds of stuff we're doing with everybody, and then we're going to be going live at this event too. So it's going to be a really great time. And if you haven't already like decided to go to any of these, even though yes, we have a collaboration with these folks, I would still say we picked events that we wanted to be at and go to, right? So it's not just that they reached out to us.
One of them I already had the ticket for already.
That's true. That's true. You did.
Yep.
So that's super exciting. I'm really excited to
still gotta get our logo on here.
Yeah. We have. Hopefully, I think I'm supposed to get back to him today. But anyway,
let's see. If we got Brandon, we gotta have Brandon on here. I'm sure. Brandon Roberts. There he is. My boy Brandon.
Yeah, buddy.
Cool. So I think those are the big ones right now.
Yeah, those are the big ones right now. I'm working on some other things too, and we'll see. I mean, much more to come. I mean, in the next several quarters, but that's mainly like Q2 of this year, right? And that's kind of the plan as of right now. So really excited, and there's more to come. So keep following along, keep following JavaScript Jam. You're gonna hear a lot more cool things coming about that. By the way, these collaborations are not gonna. We were very intentional about how we approach this and how we were going to do these collaborations, because we didn't want to change JavaScript Jam and the way it flowed and the way the audience was a part of everything and all that. That's still very much exactly what's going to happen. We're going to have our normal conversations that we always have with a speaker or with a guest or whatever. And then we're also going to be able to have this open mic platform where people come up and ask questions and state opinions and, have some nitty gritty conversations. So really excited about the way this is all going to flow through and keep going in the progression that it has already. And I love JavaScript Jam, what we've done with it. And I can't wait to continue to grow it with you all listening in, because, it wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for you guys participating and, becoming a part of that community. So we love you guys and appreciate everything you do.
By the way, I'm looking back through the chat and I saw here. Thank you so much. I'm glad that my journey has been inspiring to you. And be happy to chat about that anytime. I'm very open about how I got to where I am and what I kind of went through to get here. And I think that DevRel is a type of role that is very much like you need to kind of talk to other DevRel people to get a sense of it, because it's seemingly a very like public open thing. Someone sees DevRel people all the time, so they may think they know a lot about DevRel, but actually doing DevRel is very different from seeing people do DevRel. Like, it's a lot that happens behind the scenes that's important to know about. But I love it. I couldn't imagine doing any other job right now. It's kind of like changed my life doing DevRel. So I love it. I think it's really great. It's not for everyone, but if it's something that you enjoy, it's something that you'll get a lot out of, and you'll enjoy and both make potentially a lot of money.
Absolutely. Looking forward to both.
Henry Will's talk. Yeah, that'll be cool. And then Sabin talking about Remix Conf here.
Events.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, no, Twilio was DevRel pioneer from what I've heard. So anything else you want to talk about before we start closing it out here, Scott?
No, I just want to thank everybody once again for watching us, hanging out. It's been really fun. I'm just really excited to continue on this journey, this adventure with Anthony and myself. And it's just so cool how it came together with him and I working together, actually, which is so crazy.
Yeah, we knew each other way before I was working at Edgio.
We knew each other through Clubhouse. If y'all don't know what Clubhouse is, but back when we did this thing called JavaScript Thursdays. And I had started following that because I was wanting to do more coding and learn more things and whatever. And so Ishan, who's like the VP of product here at Edgio, he was a part of that when it was Layer Zero. And he was the CTO of Layer Zero. And then also a couple other people on there. Anyway, so I was like chatting it up with them for like 8 months every week, right? I was like on there all the time, and just being a part of that, and then kind of started co-hosting with them and other things. And then Anthony jumped in there and was on there with us for a while, and then he was like, you know what, maybe we should like transition this over to like Twitter Spaces, and we're like, Twitter Spaces,
which is way more obnoxious to use, but so many more people are there.
Right, so many more devs are there, right?
Okay.
There's a ton of devs. On Twitter, if you're a dev,
like we can never get like Theo and Dax and Michelle, Dev and all those people on Clubhouse. Like,
no, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. And so anyway, that's what happened. We took a poll, we switched it over to, and it was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go to Twitter Spaces. Everybody on our current listeners on Clubhouse, we're like, yep, we'll go with you. So a lot of the originals are still there, and we've been going strong with JavaScript Jam live, at least, and like Thursdays live, for a good freaking 2 years. That's crazy how long it's been. But
so on Wednesdays now, not Thursdays.
Right, and now it's Thursday or Wednesdays, sorry, at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yep, absolutely. So and then Anthony came to work with us eventually, after his Web3 journeys and all that. So, and another crazy thing is, man, like we didn't even know this until, I don't know a few months after like chatting it up and stuff. Maybe on Clubhouse, was it? Or was it we were on Twitter Spaces at this point? But either way, we discovered that.
I think it was in Clubhouse at the point.
I think it was. Okay.
And it was when I think it was when I was close to moving there. I don't know if I was already living there or not. Maybe I already did live there.
I think you were like, I just moved to, and that's how I found out. And
yeah,
like, I just moved to, in St. Louis. And so we're like we're like really close to each other. Yeah. I'm right outside St. Louis. He's right in St. Louis. So I'm pretty much in St. Louis. I mean, it would definitely qualify. So
we'll have to do one of these in person sometime.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's something we start doing. I'd love to get my studio being built out, and then we could do it there. I don't know, but
it'd be fun. Yeah,
absolutely.
We could also jam on JavaScript Jam.
I mean, we could do lots of things. Yeah, like for real. Yeah, jam on JavaScript.
We could write a theme. Let's write a theme song,
dude.
For JavaScript
oh my gosh,
Jam.
Can I say something real quick? I'm so excited about this. Okay, here we go. So ChatGPT is my best friend, right? And
did it write you a song?
And it wrote a song for me, and it was amazing.
ChatGPT will write you 1,000 songs.
Oh my gosh, it's insane though. No, it's not just like lyrics, right? I was like, okay. Actually, I said, can you create a song with guitar tabs? And that was it. And it said, certainly. Here's a simple song with a catchy melody that you can play on your guitar. It's written in the key of C major and uses basic chord progression, C, G, A. Dude, I want to.
The best key.
It's insane. Here's a progression: C, G, A minor, F. The song is in 4/4 time, so you can play it with a moderate tempo, and then it gives you the verse in C and G, and then it tells you like all the tabs all the way through, and then it gives you the chorus all the way through, all the tabs, and then it gives you the lyrics.
So how does it notate the melody for the lyrics?
Yeah, so then it puts C, G, and then you have the lyrics, like the first bit, and then it has A minor, F, feeling, and then it says feeling warmth begun. And then
I need to see it to fully visualize. Because if it's just the lyrics and the chord changes, then you're singing something, but there's no melody for what you're singing. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, there's up top. There's like 1 1 1 2 1 1 1 2 2 3 whatever on the each of the notes, like. For B.
So there's a melody along with the notes.
There is up top, yeah, and then you come down and it shows you the actual.
Send this to me afterwards. I want to see.
I will. It's freaking dope. I'm like, this is the coolest thing, and I want to hear it. We need to do this, right? So we will actually. Anthony and I are gonna learn this song. The next time we come on, we're gonna
play it, get a sound.
We're gonna play this song. We're gonna do this song. Why not? And so it's very short. It's very short.
We're putting a lot of faith in ChatGPT right now.
Yeah, we're going to see what happens. And it's a very short song, and there's a nice little outro. But basically, I asked it afterward. I said, how did you come up with this song? And it said, as an AI
language model, I know how to write songs.
I generated this song using my knowledge of guitar tabs, chord progression, song structure, and my as well as my understanding of various musical styles and lyrical themes. And so it gave me 1, 2, 3.
Is that Sam Altman created a pentagram and then summoned Ball and then taught him how to play the song.
Right. Yes. Oh my goodness. So anyway, yeah, I'm just like blown away by this, and we're gonna learn this, and we're gonna do it next time we're on. That's what we're gonna do. So if you want to hear a little bit of song and dance by Anthony and Scott, join us, and maybe we'll save it till the end, huh? You want to save it till the end? Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, and maybe save it for a couple more episodes so we can practice it.
Yeah, okay, maybe we'll do a couple more episodes out, but either way, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you all so much. Anthony, thanks for having me on, man, and for hanging out. As always,
Yeah,
it's been a
and we'll
pleasure.
see you all next week, same time.
Yep.
Indefinitely.
Yes, Thursday
right, thanks,
at
everyone.
1 p.m. Central or 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yeah.
That's right.
All right. Hey, should I do outro
We'll
music?
see you all on the next one.
See you on the next one. Bye. Peace.